Been a little while since we talked about Agenda 21 on this program, and, well, progressives continue to tell me it doesn't exist. In fact, the mere mention of Agenda 21 causes them to lose their collectivist mind. But here in my hand, I have one of several reports that sit on my desk on the issue, and it is a UN report, 112 pages long, all about Canada and the United Nations program called Agenda 21. Did a Google search on the Government of Canada website. These are just some of the results from the last year on Agenda 21 because departments continue to write reports and talk about how they are implementing it. This is a very real issue that plays out across the country. In fact, around the world. Dr. Ileana Johnson has been writing on this issue in places like Canada Free Press. She's also a best-selling author on Agenda 21 and UN environmental policy. She joins us now from our studio in Washington, D.C. Dr. Johnson, let's start there. You write in a recent piece about how you've been warned as well. Don't talk about Agenda 21, call it something else because, well, it's not real or people claim it's not real. This is a very real issue that involves a global idea for local control, right?
Absolutely, which started officially in 1992 when it was signed in Rio by 178 countries. And they have gradually and stealthily introduced it at the local level with actual taxpayer dollars disguised as grants from HUD, for example, or from the Department of Energy.
All right, so in your country, you've got HUD doing this. In our country, we have everything from Environment Canada to forestry management. And just the report I have in my hand talks about agriculture, atmosphere, biodiversity, freshwater, land management, which is a very real issue. It's put its tentacles into everything. A little while ago, you were writing about a group called 750. It's a regional plan in Florida to try and deal with land management. And in Canada, there's a lot of different local examples, such as Imagine Calgary. Imagine Calgary is all about bringing in Agenda 21 type sustainable development ideas. Let's make our city, our town, fit the sustainable development idea. You've looked into what this means in terms of housing choices for people in the future. What are we looking at in the future if people don't fight back?
Well, they call it sustainable urbanism, and they've actually divided the United States into 11 regions. And this particular one encompasses Florida. And it actually takes people's property either under eminent domain or some kind of protection, environmental protection, and it's moving people into these micro dwellings. They call them stack and pack. They're 200 square feet. And they have already been implemented in places like California, and we even have them here in D.C. They're called alley pods. In California, they are stacked 9 stories high. There's no elevator. There are just stairs. There are no parking places because cars are discouraged. And they rent from anywhere from $600 to $900 a month.
These are sometimes referred to as apartments, and that's the extreme example. But what about for a family that wants to live out in the suburbs, have a nice house, nice yard for the kids and the dog? Is that under threat if this type of land management and development goes forward?
Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, here in Fairfax County in Northern Virginia, where I live, there is a proposal to install these pods in suburbia in between people's homes. And of course, there's pushback from the population, but I'm not sure how successful they're going to be. Obviously, in other parts of the country, although they've been fought off, they lost. So hopefully we'll prevail, but we're not sure. I cannot imagine what's going to happen.
You've covered this from north to south in the United States. How do you fight back? You organize?
We've organized. We have groups across the country, and we've won some battles and we've lost some battles. And right now we're organized to fight in Fairfax County. We do not want these dwellings because they're going to turn our suburbia into slums. And I think that's the intent.
The intent is to try and destroy something that they don't like to begin with. My kids get this from some of their geography teachers, let's put it that way. We've seen this go across Canada in terms of the Alberta Land Management Plan. There is an attempt in this to remove property rights from landowners, is there not?
Yes, and of course, I grew up under communism for 20 years, and I've witnessed my families and the citizens around me having their properties confiscated by the government under the collectivism excuse. And at first, we had other families move in with us, and then eventually we were all kicked out into a high-rise tenement, densely populated, even though prior to that we had to share a bathroom and a kitchen with 2 other families, and the square footage was only 600 square feet to begin with. So it was not a good situation. And we wound up in these concrete block apartments.
Yeah.
Yes,
All
it
right.
is. It's almost like communists followed me.
Dr. Johnson, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much for updating us on all of this. We'll talk to you again. All right.